Here we are, at the end of the summer of 2024, and now is a good time to look back at the year of coasters, and let's just say, it hasn't been a pretty one. When I ranked the best coasters coming out in 2024, America barely broke into the top 10. Granted, I didn't include Top Thrill 2. If I did, that would have landed about number 4. But regardless, even in the best case scenario, it was a weak year for American coasters. It looked to be a lot better in Europe and Asia, and even then, they had their problems. Needless to say, we were far from the best case scenario. In fact, it turned out to be about as bad as you can get. The poster boy for the 2024 coaster season is Top Thrill 2. This was a project 2 years in the making. Top Thrill Dragster sat in limbo from August 2021 all the way to September 2022. That's when Cedar Point said it would be retired in its current form, and a year later, they officially announced Top Thrill 2, giving Zamperla a chance to replace the launch, turning it into a swing launch with a 400-foot vertical spike, and this opened on time for the 2024 season. People who rode it loved it, and 8 days later, it went down. Apparently, the trains were not holding up well, and despite further testing, and the park saying it would not be a summer-long closure, on August 23rd, they announced it would be closed until 2025. Every ride has growing pains, but when you open up for 8 days, get everyone psyched for the season, sell all those gold passes with the promise of a new ride, and you see it shut down for the entire year, that's embarrassing. Zamperla was in over their heads on this one, and the fact they ran tests and the park claimed it would be open again during the summer. That means Zamperla thought they hadn't answered the problem, and they didn't. That's kinda scary, and hopefully they can solve the puzzle over the off-season. This has happened before. Batman and Robin the Chiller opened at Great Adventure for a short time in 1997, and was shut down until 1998. Premier Rides trying to adjust the launch to get it just right. They got it done, and the ride had its share of problems, but it spent a decent 10 years at the park. Intamin also had this problem with Superman the Escape. It was slated for 1996, it opened for pass holders in the fall, and then held its grand opening in 1997. If Zamperla can't figure this out, and Cedar Point has to go back to Intamin hat in hand and ask him to fix it, that is a bad look for Zamperla, and it may cause Top Thrill 2 to be delayed further into 2025. That was the elephant in the room, but that's not the only planned coaster that we're not getting in 2024. Mattel Adventure Park in Glendale, Arizona is opening with 2 new coasters, and this has been pushed back a bunch of times. It was supposed to open before the Super Bowl right next door in 2023. That was pushed off to 2024. In March, they said they were targeting a 2025 opening, but now they say they're opening the amusement park in late 2024. Being in Arizona, they could easily open this around Christmas, but based on a recent update vlog, this place doesn't seem all that close, so we'll have to wait and see. Regardless, the resort is going to open in 2025, even if they sneak the amusement park in at the tail end of 2024. Hot Wheels Twin Bill Racer is a Chance Rides Hyper GTX, and that was number 8 in my new for 2024 list. Another much delayed project is the expansion of Codaland. I had Palindrome and Circuit Breaker in the top 15, and it didn't take long to pull the plug on the 2024 opening. It was all the way back in late January the park announced a 2025 opening. The good news is, both coasters are now vertical, so 2025 should actually happen. Now, let's talk about Six Flags. They announced 3 coasters this year and only got 1 open. That was Bobcat at Great Escape. The Flash Vertical Velocity was set to be Great Adventure's big new coaster to celebrate its 50th anniversary, but it doesn't seem like this was in the original plans. Six Flags CFO said they jumped on the chance to add a new ride late in the game, so permits and land clearing may have gotten a late start, even though this was part of the big Six Flags announcement in August 2023. They got the ride up pretty fast, but none of the infrastructure was ready by late summer, so the park announced it would open in 2025. You also have Georgia Surfer at Six Flags Over Georgia, the Intamin spinning water coaster, the first of its kind. They seem to have more notice, clearing the Splashwater Falls area in June 2023, announcing it in August, but blaming supply chain issues for the delay, also indicating there were issues with this being the prototype. This seems to be a different problem that Great Adventure had, but it does seem like Six Flags hasn't been planning things very well. They waited until IAAPA in 2022 to buy the Kid Flash coasters. Those opened at the very end of 2023, and the Flash seemed to fall into Great Adventure's lap. Then they got to scramble to get this up and ready for the next summer. It's fine if they want to play it this way, but declaring these additions to be ready for the summer season is a problem. Like Cedar Point and Top Thrill 2, they sell passes while advertising their new coaster, and it's just not there. I'll be curious to see if the new Six Flags Cedar Fair chain makes some changes, and the Six Flags Park start being more prepared, opening their rides on opening day and not in the middle of the summer, or later. It's not just America that's having issues. Hyperia at Thor Park was my number 2 coaster for 2024. That opened for 1 day and then closed for close to 3 weeks. This Mock Rides Hyper has been shut down off and on since then, including 3 days in June. Six Flags Qiddiya was supposed to open at the end of 2024, and that was pushed back to 2025. This park having 8 coasters. Some of them look awesome, including the record-smashing Falcon's Flight. There's also a lot of questions around Nickelodeon Universe in China, that project being off and on, but apparently a 2024 opening was on the table and now it's not. This included an 8-inversion Intamin LSM coaster called Turtle Turbo Power. There are some other coasters around the world that I guess we're just waiting on. You got the Mach Hyper at Sunac Cultural Tourism City, this Chinese park still under construction, the GCI Mad Racers at China's Fantasy Valley, the Inverted Infinity Coaster at Parque del Cafe in Colombia, Andromeda Base at Genting Skyworlds in Malaysia, this Dynamic Attractions SFX coaster, and the new Zamperla Thunderbolt at China Hin City, that park also waiting for its grand opening. We'll see if these end up opening in 2024. So, what did open in 2024 and what stayed open? In America, the biggest coaster was Dorney Park's Iron Menace, the B&M dive that hasn't gotten the best reviews, having a weird rattle, and I can attest, wasn't a very pleasant ride. We also finally got All-American Triple Loop at Indiana Beach, the coaster everyone raved about as Chimera in Mexico, but is already considered one of the roughest, jankiest coasters in the country with terrible restraints. I mentioned Bobcat at Great Escape. That's more of a family-style wooden coaster. Also, a family coaster that opened at Kings Island, Snoopy's Soapbox Racers. That Vekoma Family Boomerang also opening its Good Gravy at Holiday World. And Silver Dollar City getting the new Fire in the Hole. More dark ride than coaster. We got 2 other B&Ms, but they're small scale. Phoenix Rising at Busch Gardens Tampa and Penguin Trek at SeaWorld Orlando. It's obvious there was a push to add family coasters this year, and that's fine. But when it comes to thrill coasters, this is the weakest American new coaster lineup that we've seen in a long time. You might have to go back to the 80s to find a weaker one. Around the world, it looks a bit better. Voltron was my #1 coaster for 2024, and everyone who's gotten out to Europa Park to ride it seems to love it. Ireland's Emerald Park opened Fianna Force and Quest, a pair of new age Vekomas that intertwine. Denmark's Tivoli Frieden got Vinfald, a Gerstlauer Eurofighter. Wallaby Rhone Alps got Mahuka, the second ever Intamin Hot Racer. Hala Madrid opened in Dubai, the GCI Woody. Thunderbolt opened at Vancouver's P&E Playland, the relocation of Italy's Senza Fiato. And Jungle Rush should be opening at Australia's Dreamland later this year. Getting away from the new for 2024 coasters, we have also seen a lot of major coasters being taken out of commission for the long term. Dragon Mountain is down at Marineland, that park not opening any of its rides this year. Formula Rossa, the world's fastest coaster, is down after a major incident. Some say the launch cable snapped and damaged the ride. Steel Curtain is down for the whole year as SNS tries to save that ride and fix the structure. Another big 2019 coaster is in the same boat, TMNT Shellraiser at Nickelodeon Universe. Apparently, that has some structure problems and has also been down all year. Rampage at Alabama Adventure is also down for the season. Really, the only reason coaster-wise they even go to Alabama. Let me know what you think about this year. There are a lot of angles to consider. You got the push to focus on family coasters for Cedar Fair and SeaWorld. You got hiring the wrong company for the wrong job, to getting a late start because of lack of foresight, to new parks getting delayed endlessly, to prototypes having inevitable growing pains, all the way down to putting a coaster on a plot of land that can't really handle it. If you have any comments on the state of the theme park industry, sound off in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, and if you're new here and love coasters when they're open, please give me a sub. Also, check out my second channel where I post copyright-free off-ride footage. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.